What's up, guys? Welcome back for another knife installment. This is part 2 of my Volume 4 series of Let's Talk Twosun knives. Thank you for joining me. If you've seen part 1, these are the first 6 that I showed. Thank you for watching that. And yeah, I'll definitely get into the next batch of 6. First up, got the TS132 here. This is an in-house design by Twosun. There's really no designer attached to it. But they did do what seems to be a collaboration with Weistart. As you can see there, they have their branding on this side of the blade. And what they did essentially is take an old design and update it. And instead of the black stamped clip, they put a deep carry. And then this micarta that they're using, it seems to be an updated micarta as well. And it's a pretty nice micarta. Got a good weave to it. I did kind of buff it out, make it a little bit smoother. It naturally came like the way it's in the inside here, kind of that white chalky look. But I did smooth it out and oil it. So it does look a little bit better now. But I didn't really want to get into that groove there, so I kind of left it as is, and it gives a little bit of contrast. But definitely like this blade shape. A really wicked modified Wharncliffe. Nice forward finger choil. And on this one, if I didn't mention, it's the TS132 and D2. And behind the edge, I would say fairly standard. Not too thick, not too thin, just right where it should be, especially for a grind like this. But yeah, just overall, nice budget knife. I picked this one up with the intentions of doing some mod work, and I kind of feel like this knife needs it anyways. This bump here is kind of annoying as far as ergos go. If you're trying to squeeze the double fingers in here, it ends up being right in the middle of your middle finger, so it's a bit uncomfortable. And then if you try to squeeze it back with these two and the pinky's kind of hanging back off, you just feel like you're a little too far back. But utilizing that finger forward choil is where it's at. Right here is where you lock in perfectly, and this is a nice grip for this handle, but you don't always want to use the forward choil, so it's one thing I want to do is knock this bump off here, make it just one solid curve, and then yeah, I was thinking of also flipper deleting this, extending that choil, and making this a reverse flick only knife. I think that would be pretty sweet. Action on this one's alright, not like your drop shutty smooth, but still not bad at all. A couple of shakes and you're good to go. And then yeah, you can definitely reverse flick this, no problem. Your D10 angle, immediate. Pass it, flipper tab hits your finger, and then yeah, you're good to go. And then yeah, this one doesn't have a D10 ramp, so one of the reasons why it hits that D10 so early. Full back spacer, updated clip, perfectly centered. Yeah, overall, it's a pretty good beater. Bought this for 40 bucks, so can't go wrong, especially with the intentions of doing some mod work to get some practice in. And then your polish liners, pretty nice. But that's the TS132, in-house by Twosun. Up next, got a new Rehe here. This is a pretty wild, wicked design by Rehe. I mean, he's pretty much known for doing these wild designs, but a lot of it has to do with his milling. His milling is usually just kind of far out crazy. But I picked this one up. I had seen it on his Instagram, and I had been following it for a little while. Just kind of liked the design, the aesthetic, the way it looked. Thought it was interesting, and I had really dug this blade shape. Just the stabby nature to it, and yeah, just the sweeps and everything I thought it was really unique. But I ended up seeing this one, and I kind of just impulse bought it. But at the end of the day, I do like it. It's a nice design, pretty weird. I mean, as you can see, that pocket clip being way up there, and then this is a inset liner lock, so pretty cool. Your dome pivots, nice stonewash blade. Really do like their stonewashing. It's got that staticky texture instead of the real scratchy, liney texture. I like the staticky look. It's really clean. But this is the TS363 by Rehe in D2. And then, yeah, just oddly shaped milling. I like this central vein. It's kind of like a leaf, how it goes through. I thought that was just a really interesting milling choice, and I don't know, it just seems complicated. Seems cool. All these little kind of like scratch striations, these claw marks, I guess you would call them. It's another pretty different and interesting, cool design choice. But yeah, D10 on this one. Again, early. I believe this one doesn't have a ramp either. Oh, it does. It's very small though. But nice solid D10, just very good. Comes out very easy, but nice and strong. Flipper tab will hit your finger and then go the rest of the way. Action on this one was a little stiff out of the box. Not like super stiff or anything. It was a little bit better than this one, but I did improve it. I didn't mess with the lock bar or anything, just kind of tuned up the action a little more. And then I polished this pivot collar. If you can kind of see the contrast against the pivot screw, it's a little more shinier. Just kind of did that for the fun of it. There's really not necessary, but thought it was cool. Just to add a little touch to it. This jimping though, not the best. I mean, you do get a grip. It's better than nothing, but it would have been better if these were a little more sharper. They're a little muted. And then behind the edge, standard. Not too thick, not too thin. But this tip being really thin and slicey, it does help. And it's like really thin up here in this area where it's nice and stabby and it does cut well. I was pretty surprised at how this one was able to cut pretty good. This pocket clip though, I don't like how it's way up here. It's just too far up. I mean, you have like almost an inch and a half just sticking out of your pocket. I'm not one for like deep carry, but I mean, I would have liked a little bit more deep carry on that. But this pocket clip works fantastically. It goes in and out of the pocket perfectly. I try to say perfect and pocket at the same time. Perfectly. But yeah, good tension. A little on the stronger side, but because of the way this ramps, hits your pocket, goes right past it nice and easily. And yeah, you're good to go. But centered, everything's well done, fit and finish wise, and yeah, solid lockup. Really liking these inset liner locks. They got good, strong, solid lockups, and they're just really nice. But that's the TS363 by Rehe. And I paid 86 for this one. And I got these two from White Mountain Knives, and then this next one I ended up picking up from the Bay. I've been wanting to get this one for a while, and finally got it. This is an oldie but a goodie. It's a TS137 by Mazwan Mukhtar. And it's escaping me at the moment. I don't know if this one has a name. I don't think it does. But if it does, let me know. But yeah, in D2. And this little chopper is just freaking fantastic, guys. Absolutely loving this little guy. I mean, it's just so sweet. Nice action, big old blade. I've been really liking these designs where you got these big old, you know, choppy blades, chopper style. And it doesn't even have to be a chopper, just a big blade and then a smaller handle. Something like that. Kind of like a BBM style, or kind of the way the, let's see, the TS136 is, which is right before the 37, so back to back. Kind of the style with the big blade, small handle. Something I've grown to really like. But yeah, as you can see here, just beautiful carbon fiber. Nice chunky pivot collars, which this is the only style pivot collar I've ever seen from Twosun. They have some that are similar, but nothing quite like this. Like, The 186 is similar, but this one's more rounded on the ends. So I thought it was cool. Thought that was different. And I'm definitely a big fan of Twosun's chunky pivots. But yeah, beautiful carbon fiber. Love the way they did it. All the, just the contouring, the finish. Nice back spacer. And then the milling on the other side. Just beautifully done, clean. Absolutely love this pocket clip. The way it goes from thin to thick. The only thing is, it's really low on the clearance and there's like no ramp at all. So once it hits your pants, it doesn't want to go past it. You do kind of have to lift it and help it. But the tensioning on this one is absolutely perfect. So it helps to just pull it up real quick and let it slide past and you're good to go. So it functions well in the aspect that it has good tensioning and it holds well. It looks good and all that. Pretty deep carry, but you do got to give it some assistance. But once you get past that and you get used to it, it's alright. But yeah, D2 on this cleaver style, and then you have that opening hole down here. Really nice flat grind. Comes down to a pretty nice thinness, especially for an early model. At 137, this one comes down to a pretty nice thinness. Not their thinnest, but definitely a slicer here. And then with that chopper style, just really cool. Cuts really well. But overall, I'm really liking this, just the design aesthetic, the way it looks closed and open. The way this fits in the hand here, it just sits right into your fingers and your thumb lands right on that flipper tab. The jimping, so nice and grippy. And usually I'm not a fan of like the super angular geometry, but the way it works here is just really nice. Your thumb lands right on it. You actuate super easily. And then with this blade being kind of like the top heaviness to it, once you start getting it out, it just wants to come swing the rest of the way. So it has that momentum to it and that helps it. And you can actually use this thumb hole down here. Kind of do that ring finger flick. Works well. You can middle finger flick it, but you do kind of have to get it a little bit down lower here. But no problems there. Works very nicely. Your internal relief cut. Perfectly centered. And I love this swedge here in the front. It's got like a vicious look to it. Just really nice. But yeah, just a really, really cool knife. The jimping here, a little far back in my opinion. But it does got a nice grippiness. The way the ergos are, you kind of have to hold this knife slightly. And a kind of looser grip if you want to use that jimping. I wish it was a little bit more forward here, but not bad. But the ergos on this one, just really comfortable. Really neutral. And then this like forward area helps to choke up a little bit. Excellent plunge grind and just the life in that blade. You're good to go. D10 angle, immediate, you get past it, and then just nice and smooth action. I wish the lock bar area here would have been more axis and symmetrical with this side. You have the cutout. There's no cutout here, it's just sharp. I wish it would have been even. Having that cutout would have helped, although it's not difficult to get to. And then another thing I got to mention about this one, because this flipper tab protrudes a lot, you do have to watch out when you go to close it, because if you disengage, you want to naturally be right here, and you'll be right over it, so you won't be able to close it. So I've just been kind of holding my finger up when I go to close it, and then go the rest of the way. But that's the TS-137 here. Just an absolutely cool knife. I won this one on eBay for $88. Came out to like $104 after everything. Definitely a great price. Well worth it for this discontinued model. If you can find one, definitely go for it. That's the 137 by Maswa Mukhtar. Up next, guys, we got some new units, some absolutely just incredible beasts. I'm immediately just fell in love with these knives, especially this next one here. It's the TS-144 by Night Morning. This knife is the updated, essentially the updated version of the TS-269. And this is one of my top 10 knives, so now getting this one, I'm probably going to have to revise my list and kick this one out, put this one in its spot. But yeah, I'm going to do a comparison video of these two. This is just a fantastic knife. Just so many good things that, you know, he improved on this one, but I still like this one more. It's got this really nice polished, shiny finish to it that just makes it feel soft and elegant. I don't know, it's a great knife. But now that I've gotten this one, I've been highly enjoying it. Again, the TS-144 by Night Morning in D2. Wicked Tonto blade shape, that hollow grind. And this hollow grind comes down to a pretty screaming thin edge. Because it's got that like Scandi grind, it is a bit more gradual. So even though it's real thin behind the edge, it does thicken up a little bit more quicker than your like deep hollow grinds. But still very thin. And then your Tonto, just that extended Tonto tip. Nice and thick, stabby. I just like that swedge, how he put this large swedge in here and built onto that Tonto tip. Gives it a really cool stabby look. With that late harpoon thumb ramp, just everything together, it gives this blade a really vicious, wicked look. Really liking it. But yeah, just a really cool design overall, from the handle to the ergos to the action to just the way this knife actuates. Everything works so well together. And I love the build construction, how they just did the 1-through screw and it goes right into the clip, screws in. I thought that was really nice. So you get your hidden screw here style, and this whole side just looks real clean and cohesive. How they did the pocket clip to just meld right into the back, you know, the back end here, and then into the scale. How the clip is milled in the same position. How everything lines up perfectly. How everything is just all seamless and cohesive in one design. Really well done. One thing I will complain about, as a minor cosmetic thing, is there's some little blemish marks right here, down here. If you notice, the milling gets a little thicker on the lines, and then right here on the clip, and right here. Just little cosmetic things, nothing serious. There's a little hiccup in the CNC programming. And that's how it is across the board with this whole model, all of them in general, not just mine. So maybe they'll get that fixed when they upgrade this one into an M390 model. But yeah, that's how they are for now. But nothing bad. It's not like it hurts the knife. But you do kind of notice it. I'm sure if you like blasted this knife and gave it a different finish, you can probably hide it a bit more easier. But still, really, really cool knife. Just love it. The ergos, absolutely freaking perfect. You don't have any jimping or anything, but you lock in here, you don't need the jimping. Everything is where it needs to be. The choke up spot for your choil, you're where you need to be. Using that thumb ramp, the little thumb ramp, works so well. You lock in. One thing I didn't really like too much though was these bumps here. They weren't my favorite to have there because I kind of touch them a lot, especially like this part of my thumb. I mean, I'll usually just arch my thumb up, but sometimes I'll kind of rub it and it just bothers me a little bit, something I notice. But that's just me. Some other things I really liked about this knife were the stop pin here. I like how they exposed it on this end. And I did kind of polish these up too, just for a little added touch. Not that I really needed it, but for the fun of it. And yeah, this just being an inset liner lock. Another really cool thing Twosun's been doing lately. The centering groove on the back spacer, always cool and nice to see. Plus helps prevent blade wrap, so always a plus. And then you will have to use a little bit of Loctite on this one, just like the 269. The screw will back out a little bit, but I mean, it still holds pretty well. You just hit your Loctite real quick and you'll be good to go. Sorry for the brakes, guys. Neighbors are being annoying. But yeah, another thing, that hidden lanyard pin, I didn't like the through hole on the 269, so having that hidden lanyard pin there is just always a bonus, keeping it out of the way. But overall, just a really sweet design. Love the action, love the way the thumb studs actuate, just everything works so well. And I'm always a sucker for a Tonto. The D10 angle, pretty early to normal. Pass it and yeah, you're good to go. Nice and smooth, centered, just beautifully done. That's the TS144. After that, I got this little beast unit here, the TS154 by Jelly Jerry. I'm really liking this thing. This thing is just sweet, and it's got the stupid snappiest D10 I've ever had on a knife. Listen, this thing is just ridiculous. I didn't bother to tune it or mess with it. I just did my normal cleaning and all that. I didn't tune this one or clean it at all either. I did tune this one, not the D10 or anything, just polished and got the action better. But yeah, very snappy. And real quick, forgot to mention, paid $99 for this one, and then I got this one for $90. But Jelly Jerry 154 and D2. And yeah, just like the fact that this is a little chunky unit of a knife, front flipper, thumb hole flicker, and it's based off of the Monarch, the TS223, with that bolster style handle and carbon fiber. Just really cool. This is a really sweet knife. The ergos on this one, being that it's a smaller one, you get that 3-finger with the pinky hanging off. Which is pretty comfortable, it's not bad. But you do have that choke up spot, and that's where the money's at right here. You're locked in, good to go. And then having all that jimping there, just so nice. You have this top half for the front flipping action, and the bottom half is for when you have the blade open and you're cutting. Because if you try to use it down here, it's a little kind of muted since it's flush. But when you have your hand in, the position that you need it, your thumb is resting up here, so this is where you really use that jimping at. And then yeah, you just lock in. You can do your push cuts on this knife with this tall flat grind. Just go through material nice and easy. Nice and thin behind the edge. Works pretty nicely here. I'm really liking this one. And then the fit and finish, just on point. The way this marries up, just seamless. It is right there. Everything just clean. No gapping, no nothing. All well done. Especially for the money. I mean, look at that. Those corners are just perfect. For 90 bucks, that's Riot quality almost right there. I mean, all you feel is the material transition. You don't feel no gapping, no nothing. It's just smooth. This side, it looks like there's a little bit of a gap, but it's not. It's because they chamfered this side all the way through the lock bar. I think they just did it for the lock bar area. But yeah, just very nice. And then your plunge grind, and in right here, you have all that life in your blade. This thumb hole, it's a bit sharp. Some people might not like that, but others will probably love it. But yeah, since the detent is super hard, it might be a little bit annoying. But for me, works very well. You get a nice solid grip, and then this thing comes flying out. But if it's a little too much for you up here, you can definitely come down here on the knife to actuate it. Kind of gives you a spot to rest on anyways, and then you have better leverage without using too much strength trying to break the detent. So definitely works. Nice full backspacer, and then again I polished up these pivots, if you can tell in comparison to the pivot screw. It's a little more shinier. But yeah, just a nice little chunky unit of a knife. The front flipper, love how the geometry is and kind of how it contrasts with this pointiness on this side. Just got a nice look to it. It mirrors well. Plus when the knife is open, it's just got a good design flow. But snappy detent. Perfectly centered. Just wonderfully done. Nice clip. It's a bit chunky, a little stiff, but the way he ramped it, it definitely helps. So this clip is not too bad at all. Just on the stiffer side, but definitely works. And then your detent angle, normal, early to normal, especially for a Jelly Jerry, not bad at all. Get past it and nice and smooth. Top open construction, and then yes, you have your detent ramp. So pretty cool. Another added design style here, but it does make it a little easier to get to the grit and grime. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was the access to the lock bar. Not necessarily your best, but I do like these cutouts, this cutout style. It's something that I've grown to gotten used to due to my Leon Malls. They have that. I've just gotten really used to it, grown to really like it. Where's my other one? Yeah, so because of that style there. I just thought this was cool to have it too. But that's the TS-154. Really sweet knife. Definitely would recommend it. Up next, guys, is my favorite out of this batch. Man, it was instant love right out of the box. One I should have gotten so long ago. Yeah, this one's for you, Tony, if you're watching. Finally got it. Got the TS-380 here. And I don't know if you heard that, but this knife makes such a beautiful acoustic. It's got this pinging sound when it opens. Let's see if I can get it. Doesn't always do it, but see, you can kind of hear it. It's got like a ting at the end. It's just really cool. And then yeah, as you can see, this one's nice and smooth. I did tighten it up a little bit beforehand just to make sure it wasn't too loose. But very well done here. This carbon fiber, the way they machined it, gave it that texturing, and then the way it sits into this frame, just beautifully done. This thing is a brute, but it's just beautifully done. And I know some people would consider this a liner lock knife, but this is definitely an inset or an inlaid frame lock. That's what I would consider it. Because this is all a frame, and then this inlays into it. If this was a flat scale, and then this was, you know, flat titanium as well, I would consider it a liner lock, but it's not. So, to me, this is a frame lock. But, great detent. Beautiful design. I like this, like, camp knife style design. It's really utilitarian, tried and true, but he modernized it here and just gave it a really cool blade shape with the cutout, you know, high flat grind, stupid behind the edge, just nice and thin, slicey, but still, you know, holds up. You got your strength because of the thick stock. And then the handle here, simple, plain, very ergonomic, nice and rounded handle, but modernizing it with the carbon fiber inlaid into a frame, just really cool. And then again, always love me internal relief cuts, but I like how he did these 5 striated cuts here. Just kind of added reliefing. Also another little detail touch that I thought was nice. Pocket clip, you know me, always like the hidden screw constructions. Great tension on this clip, works perfectly. It is a little low, but no problem there. And then yeah, this is the TS380 and 14C. I didn't mention the blade steel. And this is designed by Roman, what's his name? Polyankovich or something? Roman Polyankovich. I don't know if he's done another one with Twosun yet, but this is just a fantastic design so far. One thing I would have changed about the design is, since he used a full backspacer, which I really do like, how it comes all the way around here too. And then look at that centering, just spot on. What he should have done is gotten rid of the through hole here. He has a pin here already, so he should have left this exposed, left a pin here for the lanyard. He could have gotten rid of these 2 screw holes, or the screws, because I don't like the fact that he's using T6s here. And then both of these screws thread into the backspacer instead of it being a Chicago screw, and then this threads into the Chicago screw. It's, you know, 4 different screws, so being T6, you have a more likely chance of messing them up. Something I didn't really like to see. I wish they would have done what they did here with the 1 through screw into the clip. That just would have been a smarter choice. That would have been my choice if I had designed this knife, but even then, this knife is just beautiful the way it is, designed perfectly. And yeah, access to log bars, not substantial or anything, but still easy to get to. The detent angle, normal. But you get past it when that flipper tab hits your finger, and yeah, you're definitely good to go here. But I just absolutely love the feel of this knife, the way it's all, the finish, the way it's all just smooth, and the roundedness to it, no hot spots. It just feels so good in the hand. Actuating it, the detent, the ergos, all that jimping that you get, nice and grippy. You lock in, this knife it's perfect. I really need to revise my list after getting these last 12. My top 10's definitely changed since then. And then yeah, with this hole here, no problems reverse flicking this baby. I'm actually considering getting another one of these and then flipper deleting it so that it can just be a reverse flicker. And on mine, I ended up buying the satin one, so it is going to get quite scratched up easily. I should have bought a stonewash version. I know Tingley still has some, but I just bought this one because I support White Mountain knives. But yeah, just a perfect knife here. Definitely recommend getting this one. Out of all of these here, I would definitely get this one first. But, I mean, look at this. Look at the fit and finish. The way it all seamlessly fits in there. Very well done. The jimping on the flipper tab could have been a little bit better, or it could have just been more exposed. You really only get these 2 last jimps, so could have been a little bit better there, but very easy to actuate, no problems. And yeah, that's all I got, guys. It's the TS380, and hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll have another batch out for you guys in about a month. Later.